Shane Gillis is going to be hosting SNL on Saturday. And this is important for all of you because he was fired by Saturday Night Live in 2019 for surfaced jokes he had made on podcasts many years prior, where I think he did like an Asian accent and he made what they called homophobic jokes. So SNL said, "You're fired. You can't work here anymore." Now, considering many see him as the up and coming star in the comedy circuit, one of the funniest comedians in the world, SNL asked him to host. And once again, the woke machine is trying to cancel him. But oh, it's so funny. It's not working. NBC News writes, with Shane Gillis' return to SNL, Asians ask when they'll stop being the punchline. I just love this so much. I don't count. Everybody knows that. I don't count. But, if I were to agree with them, I would. So first, I'll say, I agree with the woke left on discrimination and all that stuff. Now, as officially an Asian person, because I agreed with you, don't forget, I'm not asking this question at all. Quite literally don't care if he does an Asian accent. People do it all the time. I'm not going to cry and whinge about South Park. In fact, I love the City Walk guy. He's great. We all love him. Turns out he's a white guy the whole time. Did you guys ever watch that one?
No.
It turns out the City Walk guy was like the Chinese guy at the Chinese food restaurant.
So it was okay that Shane Gillis made fun of it then, right?
He didn't make fun of that, but it turned out, the South Park guys.
Canonically.
Canonically, he's actually a white guy who's got what is he, like schizophrenic or something?
I think there are like levels of comedianship that you get to where you're no longer canceled. Like Dave Chappelle, like some guys are so awesome that it's just like you let them say whatever. And Shane's one of those guys.
And financially secure, right? I mean, that's part of it. You're able to say whatever because you risk less. I just listened to Shane Gillis's podcast with Theo Vaughn, and I don't follow his stand-up very much, so I don't know what he's like normally, but it was definitely interesting during the episode hearing him be like, oh, you got to be careful. Like, you're not supposed to say stuff like that. It seems like cancel culture has definitely had an effect on him.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe it's a confidence boost to be able to go back on a show that fired you over something you had, you couldn't take back and you kind of had no control over.
I mean, that really made his career, though, to be honest. And I know that he recognizes that, too. But it's funny you bring up that particular podcast if anyone wants to go watch it, because Theo Vaughn brings up a lot of points about this exact thing within the whole comedy world. And it's and this whole, like, being canceled by people that don't even really care about what you do and don't even like the stuff that you're putting out in the world in the first place.
They're not going to drop him from hosting.
No.
I'm willing to bet then when I bet he's got a contractual agreement.
Yeah.
I bet they were like, we want you to host. And he was like, okay, but you can't cancel, like, because people are going to be pissed. And they're like, no, we get it. There's no way SNL did not know. This is, we are winning so massively that SNL is now doing a turnaround. Remember, didn't they fire Norm Macdonald?
Yeah.
There was some other moment where he, and then he hosted and he was like, I got fired from the show for not being funny. Yeah, he's amazing.
Great.
Look at this. This is the collapse of woke dominance in the media. There's this other big news that they're recasting Pirates of the Caribbean for a younger cast, and they're going to have the main character played by like a young black woman. And this one's interesting because it's like, it's a hand-me-down. It's not going to work. It's condescending. It's insulting. We were talking about this like 8 years ago with when they would try and race swap characters. You're taking a character that is beloved and known, who is like a white dude, and then it's a hand-me-down character. Like, oh yeah, by the way, we make him black and a woman, and now you've got a character. It's like, no, you didn't make an original character.
Right. I feel like that's way more insulting to say we'll just sort of recycle something else. Also, sort of unfair because that depiction of Captain Jack Sparrow is so iconic. I mean, people really loved it. That's why there were so many of them.
Of who?
Pirates of the Caribbean is Jack Sparrow, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know any pop culture, so when you question me, I immediately lose confidence.
I didn't understand what words you said. It sounded like Kim Rivers.
It's how you said Cam Darrow.
I don't know what
and
it's
I was like, what?
I'll start again.
Jack Sparrow.
So the depiction of Captain Jack Sparrow is so iconic.
Sparrow,
People loved him. That's why there were so many of them. To say, not only do you not get original content because we don't actually really care about giving you something fresh as an actor to work with, we're also going to set you up to be directly compared to a character people loved always. I mean, that's like setting someone up to fail, I feel like. Not only do they not get the chance to perform sort of authentically with their own talents and skills, they also just live in the shadow of this white guy forever.
So who's that guy, Kumail Nanjiani or whatever his name is?
It's Kumail Nanjiani.
Kumail Nanjiani. He apparently like had to get therapy because his Marvel movie bombed. Did you guys see this?
Seriously?
Yeah, I think Scanner has
nothing
it
wrong
on
with
the website.
therapy, I guess.
Sure, but it was like his movie did so poorly. And I just find it funny because this DEI stuff getting called out, Disney, Elon Musk suing. SNL is literally asking a white man who's been attacked relentlessly by the left for being like, you know, anti-Asian or homophobic or whatever. They're just like, we don't care. We're gonna totally bring him on. I'm just like, the writing's on the wall for these corporations. They know they're losing money by doing all this woke stuff, and I think it's only a matter of time. The movies all fall in line. The fact that Kumail guy had to get therapy, you think they're going to consider him for another lead role in one of these movies? Look at the Marvels. The worst grossing Marvel movie ever. Worse than the Hulk, which like nobody even considers to be part of it, even though it is.
Is that not counting inflation? Just pure numbers? Just gross terribly? Or is that
I mean, it's only been
inflation?
like 10 years, so I don't think inflation's playing a big role in those numbers right now. Though, to be honest, considering the past 4 years, maybe.
My initial thought was the DEI is just, I mean, the curtain's been pulled back. It's so disgusting to force certain races into positions of power just because of their skin color.
But they're not even positions of power.
Like at a corporation, they'll be like, we're going to hire you for that role, considering that role a position of power. You got the job. That's the power.
But don't they do that anyway?
It's not,
like
no.
They have DEI hirings, even if it's just a random corporation being like,
it's not a position of power. So, for instance, I've actually experienced this. You know, having worked in an office with a bunch of women, I have worked with very capable women who are substantially better than half the guys. There was one producer that I worked with at Vice and later at Fusion who was like literally one of the best. And they treated her like crap. And when her documentaries actually won awards, she wasn't invited. And I'm like, see, that's a good example of them just being like, so it happens. However, that being said, there were also women who were hired just because they needed women. And then at meetings, you'd get like, do we have any ideas for pitches? And the guys would say something like, here's insert mediocre idea. Another guy would say, here's insert slightly good idea. And then the woman would go, here's insert the worst idea imaginable.
Here's woman idea.
And then everyone would be like, yeah, we're not interested in that. And then later she'd be like, they won't listen to my ideas because I'm a woman. And I'm like, I gotta be honest, like that was bad. Like there's Emmy award winning journalists here who are women. Like it's not because you're a woman, it's because you're bad at this. And the problem is when they do these quotas, it is not the best person for the job. Like Mark Cuban is purely wrong about this.
Yeah, I think it's becoming obvious to people. Like it's similar to the border crisis. It's very obvious to most people that, and it seems obvious to the producers at SNL. They're like, yo, our cast has been floundering. Like the show, I've only seen clips over the last 3 or 4 years, but it's been bad. It's been really, really bad. And Shane can come in there and show those guys how to act. Like even if it's just for one night, they're hanging out for a whole week. He's one of the funniest comedians on earth. Like he's got a vibe that's like chill but aggressive. I think it's really good for the show to have him there.
Yeah, I mean, have him back.
But the thing is, it's for business. They're doing this because they want the show to be profitable, and that is what concerns me. That business is more powerful.
Oh, it shouldn't concern you. It's good if they have him back because they're like, hey, this is much better for us. That's great. Because then they're doing what Bud Light's doing. They're saying, hey, the writing's on the wall, like Tim said, that we don't want to do this woke thing anymore because all it does is we go broke, we lose money, we go broke. Like that's what we've been saying for a long time. And I think it's a good thing.
I think we have to reflect on the fact that they fired him. I mean, they could have had him there balancing out the cast from the beginning, and instead they were like, no, you're too risky, we don't want you here, and now they pay the price for it.
Fired him literally day one.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Which, I mean, it's almost like recognizing that they maybe could have, I don't watch SNL, so I don't really know, what they could have done. But theoretically, if you had this other voice, this other perspective on comedy, you would have balanced out your writing room in a way that maybe would have kept you more culturally relevant.
I think so. Although, arguably, yeah, I think you're right for sure. Shane being there would have been a good influence on the comedy.
And they had the option. They chose to say, no, you're too bold, you're too risky, we don't want to be on the cutting edge. And then they sent themselves back, right? They aren't that interesting anymore.
Yeah. The downside could have been that SNL clammed him up and kept him on, but kept him quiet and not funny because they didn't want to piss off the wrong people.
Yeah, I think this whole thing and being quote unquote canceled was like I said earlier, like it kind of made his career, and he's definitely realized that. And I think if like you said, he would have been like kind of hemmed up from actually being as funny as he really is and being able to explore what he's explored. I would
also argue that the career path for stand-up comedians has really broadened with the advent of podcasting and YouTube and the internet and things like that. Like if you listen to like Tina Fey talk about it, doing improv, being part of these big groups launched you into Hollywood, launched you to movies, whatever else. They didn't have the same outlets. And so in some ways, maybe by not having to immediately get on that machine, he was able to develop more more authentically as a comedian because he had to say like, well, this is what I'm going to do and this is how I'm going to continue to hone my craft as a stand-up comedian.
Yep. It used to be Upright Citizens Brigade in Chicago, or it was like improv groups, and then those people would kind of fast track up to the SNL thing. But now, like Rogan, dude, shout out to Joe Rogan for putting Shane Gillis on the map, because when Shane got fired, it was like, he probably thought his life was over. And then Joe was like, well, actually, you're one of the coolest guys I know. Come on my show over and over. And now they're like best friends. They're like in a group of really good friends. So nice job, Joe. He knows talent when he sees it. Shane is so awesome, dude.
I mean, it looks like they're getting, you know, in the last week, 4.5 million viewers.
Is that up or down?
I mean, it's literally down from like a long time ago, but I think they're actually doing moderately well right now.
SNL?
They're like steady.
I don't know. It's hard to find the exact numbers, to be completely honest. But it is, regardless.
Yeah, I wonder how many of those numbers, how many of those people watch it live anymore. It's 11:30 on a Saturday.
That's
there's so
literally
many
what I
other
pulled up.
things.
That's
really,
literally what I pulled
4.5
up.
million. But there's so
But
many
I
other
don't
cool
believe
things you could be doing on a Saturday night than watching TV.
I don't believe it. I literally do not believe it. When we have, like on the internet, you have hard numbers right away. And even those are somewhat hard to track because you still get bot traffic and things like this. But then you get like Nielsen ratings where they're like, we estimate based on some boxes.
Oh, it's awesome.
You know, it's like the Family Guy joke where the TV executive gets a phone call and he's like, we just got 10 complaints. That means 14 billion people are mad.
know, yeah.
You know, that's how it works. So they're like, oh, 5 million people watched. I'm like, I don't buy it. Because I honestly don't know anybody who could name a cast member of SNL. And I know people are going to say, like, that means you're not going outside. Bro, I go hang out in National Harbor. I go hang out at these places with regular people all the time. And these things are just like, I have no idea. Could you guys name a single cast member right now on SNL?
I mean, other than, like,
Keenan. Wait,
Keenan's still on the show?
Yeah.
what's his real name?
I don't know his real name, but I was gonna say Michael Shea and what's his name, Kanye Jost, like those guys. That's it.
They're
That's
on the
all I
show?
know. Yeah, they're like
One
writers.
of them's married to Scarlett Johansson. That's what I know.
Jost is. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Look, I know pop culture. I'm aware.
Pete's off the show. Pete, I know his first name. He had tattoos.
Davidson. But
Pete
when
Davidson. He's not on anymore, though.
But didn't he only just play himself over and over again?
Yeah, kind of. Sometimes he's funny. Who's that girl? That one girl too. No, I guess the answer is no.
We're not doing a great job. That one girl and that guy who's married to her,
Yeah.
like it's rough. I mean, I don't.
Michael Shea, Colin Jost. Who else is there? Keenan Thompson.
Keenan.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, Keenan.
can name
Keenan
all
Thompson.
the men,
He's been
but
on for
none
a
of
long
the women.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah, who are the girls that are on that show?
irrelevant to us apparently.
Apparently.
I don't know. I have this list and I'm like,
Dude, the show was
Bowen Yang. Okay.
It's like it's a lot to live
Devin
up to.
Walker. Chloe Trost.
Never heard of him.
I know Keenan Thompson. He's an OG. He's been since all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sarah Sher. I have no idea who these people are.
Are this all of
Me
them
either.
forever?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ego Nwodim. No idea who that is. Michael Longfellow.
Jules
Molly
Louis
Kearney.
Dreyfus.
Oh, I've heard of
Molly. I know that
Molly
name.
Kearney. I've heard of her. Punky Johnson.
Funny name.
James
Bring that
Austin
one back.
Johnson. I don't know. Marcelo Hernandez. Heidi Gardner. Chloe Feynman. That one sounds kind of familiar. Andrew Dismukes. Mikey Day. Michael Shea. We know that one. Michael Shea. He's got viral clips.
Maybe because
I don't know.
with the internet, like comedy's more real. And so this corporate comedy is like obviously corporate. They can't say fuck on SNL, but I can say it on YouTube, you know, and it's actually enjoyable on this venue. But like on that, they're still like
think
bound by these weird.
Yeah, and it's just
rules.
not the only place you have to go anymore. So maybe people who would have auditioned for it and tried to get in, they think, oh, I'm too edgy. They won't take me anyway, so I won't go, and I'll start my own thing over there. I mean, in some ways, it's good, right? Because it gives other people options to start YouTube channels, start podcasts, do more live presentations. I think that, again, I feel like I can't totally critique it because I don't watch SNL regularly, but I just think that we have moved away from cable TV as a culture. And
This is not cable TV.
what is it?
This is free terrestrial network
NBC.
television.
I
Yeah,
just
it's
think
NBC.
even then, like I feel like people have just moved away from it.
They moved
Like,
away from like programming, like what do you call it? Scheduled programming.
yeah, it's everything. People, if you want to listen to something, you listen to it on demand, and so there's not the same level. I mean, I guess this is live, so that sort of brings an element to it that maybe you'd want to watch, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem as attractive as a form of entertainment anymore.
Yeah, man. I used to watch it in the 90s with Wayne's World. I mean, that's where Mike Myers and Dana Carvey started Wayne's World was I was going to say a YouTube skit. It was an SNL skit. Thanks, YouTube, for building yourself. Shout out to Chad Hurley and all the guys making this website. What a groundbreaking technology this was.
Yeah, it was revolutionary.
We got Ryan Long. We got all these awesome comedians doing their own thing, but they don't have a TV show like Theo Von and you know, Brian Callen and Joe Rogan. If they had a show like SNL, that'd be pretty badass.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.